WWE No Way Out 2004. We are almost at WrestleMania 20. And on the way there, we got intergender blindfold matches. We got dominatrixes getting killed off. Oh, and by the way, one of the greatest championship wins of all time. But you know what? I could tell you all that right now, or you could just sit your caboose right there and take a listen to it. So why don't you just do that? Okay. Hey, it's the Apron Bump Podcast.
Yeah. And your heart is talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock this. Let's get it started.
What is up, everybody? Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to the Apron Bump Podcast. I, of course, am your host, the hardest heart of the ring, Kyle. How's everybody doing today? Pretty apropos show today. You know, as of recording this, I'm recording this on early March of 2025. And we are fresh off the heels of Elimination Chamber 2025, which has taken the place of the show that we're going to talk about today, No Way Out. The pre-WrestleMania pay-per-view, the last speed bump, the last roadblock, the last pothole, whatever you want to call it. That's effectively what this is, right? And I say this is apropos because No Way Out 2004, which is the show we're going to be covering today, of course, up until a few days ago, I was thinking maybe this is the most significant, February WWE pay-per-view of all time. Mainly the main event, but honestly, this whole show from top to bottom is like a sneaky good show. I don't remember this show being good. Maybe I just have a soft spot for SmackDown pay-per-views, but I don't know. I enjoyed it, and we'll talk more about it as to why I enjoyed it. Chavo Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, probably maybe Chavo Guerrero's best match, perhaps. Who knows? We talk a lot about that. We got number one contendership triple threat match, John Cena, Kurt Angle, Big Show, tons of star power there. The Bashams are here. You got your suspicious, there's Hardcore Holly versus Rhino. There's what the heck else is there? I think I'm forgetting something. Oh, there's like an APA Worlds. It's a very fascinating show in hindsight because you see maybe some of the last of pre-JBL Bradshaw. You see some of the last of the world's greatest tag team. And you see potentially one of the greatest WWE championship wins. At least one of my favorites. I'll say that. Of course, in the main event. It's what everybody thinks of when they think of, probably when people think of No Way Out in general. Most people probably think about this, but definitely No Way Out 2004. Brock Lesnar, Eddie Guerrero, the main events. And it's some good shit, man. I can't wait to get into it. And who am I going to get into it with, you ask? Maybe. But I got Vince from so many different podcasts returning to the show. Always a good time with Vince Delgado. You can check him out on GETCHO podcast. You can check him out on Smacking It Raw. You can check him out on the 606 podcast if you like basketball or badminton or whatever else he gets into there. But always a good time with Vince, like I said. Very entertaining guy, very handsome guy, very supple hiney on that fella. So if any of these things interest you, I suggest you go give him a follow. I'll put all of his socials in the description below, as well as where you can find all of his various podcasts and places he pops up. He's a good boy, sweet boy. Trying to get him to do a podcast shirtless one day. We're still working our way there. But speaking of getting shirtless, you should get shirtless. Give me a follow on all the social medias at Apron Bump all across the board. X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all those things. Join the Discord as well. We have a lot of fun in there. We got a little predictions league for all the pay-per-views. So if you want some action in there, why don't you go hop on in? We have a good old time in the Apron Bump Discord. Hey, I got some new merch, by the way. I'll try to remember to add that to the description below, but that should be in my link tree if nothing else. What the heck else is there? I think I've covered it all. Let's just quit the lollygagging and cross borders into this episode. That's the theme song. That's the Rey Mysterio has a song called Crossing Borders. That's the theme of this pay-per-view. I didn't just say Crossing Borders because Eddie Guerrero's on this. I didn't just say Crossing Borders because Vince happens to be Hispanic. As I didn't No Way Out. Yeah, man, that's my way out of that one. No Way Out. 2004 with myself and Vince Delgado from a bunch of shit. He's Mexican.
These were the curtains that were already presented to me, so I'm like, sure, why not? I mean, it was either this or I get like Macho Man curtains or something that said, "Ooh yeah," and then you got Slim Jim.
I like that.
Yeah, I think it would go with GETCHO sign right there by the window.
Back in the day, they used to sell like the door. What do they call them? The door tapestries or something. It was like a big Undertaker one and
tapestries.
Get you a nice tapestry, or something.
Yeah, something like that. You can just go ghetto and just get like a bat towel and just hang it.
Oh, I've been there, man. I used to have curtains that I taped to the wall because I didn't know how to hang rods back in the day. So, but now I'm very familiar with rods.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of hard to handle a rod, you know, your first couple times. You don't really know what to do with it.
All right, you got to kind of break it open and stuff like that. Yeah. But hey, man, if you got curtains, the sun would have no way out of the outside into the inside. That doesn't really make sense, but no way out.
Yes.
2004, buddy. Glad to have you. I mean, I don't think there's anybody better than a gentleman like yourself.
I appreciate that sentiment. Thank you. That's a compliment. For sure.
Purely because of your race, no other qualities.
Okay.
But it's whatever. I'll deal with the red numbers.
It's okay. Yeah. I don't mind being racially profiled for this pay-per-view.
No, well, good, because there's a lot of it. But yeah, man. No Way Out 04. Did you get a chance to watch the show back?
Yeah. Ironically enough, I guess I had already started a watch of this thing, a playback of this, because when I went to go play No Way Out 04 on my Peacock account, apparently I had already started at the beginning of the Eddie Guerrero title match in the main event. So I'm like, did I watch this shit already? Or like, is someone, watching No Way Out 2004? Was this meant to be? Sure enough, I did watch it. I don't know what I was watching it for. I don't know if it's just personal like benefits or what have you, but I remembered everything, especially the beginning of the show, unfortunately. This is one of those shows. You know the wrestling phrase where they say turning chicken shit into chicken salad?
Right.
This pay-per-view did a really good job of turning chicken shit into chicken salad from the beginning all the way towards the end. It's the best way I can describe this pay-per-view for people.
So you enjoyed the show, is what you're saying? It was a chicken salad dish.
Yeah. I came to completion towards the end.
That's good. That's all you can really ask for. Yeah, dude. I don't remember liking the show outside of the main event, of course, but like I didn't really remember anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had pretty low expectations, but in watching it back, I agree. I had a good time watching it. Like you look at the card on paper, it's like, I don't know, but for whatever reason, the energy was there. Maybe I just have a soft spot for SmackDown in this era. Even the stuff that's not so good, it's like I kind of enjoy. But yeah, top to bottom, I thought it was actually a way better show than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think going into it, the only thing I remembered being on this card was the match prior to the main event, which was the triple threat match for the number one contendership at Mania. Mm-hmm. Just because I knew that that's how you set up Angle versus Eddie at Mania 20. So I knew that he had beat Cena and Big Show in a triple threat, and then the two losers decided to dance with each other at Mania, and that's where John Cena gets his first title. So I knew those two matches. Outside of that, I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, there was some weird stuff on the show, but obviously highlighted with those two matches. Eddie and Brock is probably what everybody thinks of when they think of this show, but that triple threat was pretty big in its own right. So this being No Way Out, this made me think, because nowadays we just have the Elimination Chamber, which is kind of like the secondary Royal Rumble. And watching this timeline and how they got to Kurt and Eddie and all that stuff, I almost kind of miss when they had to get creative with getting a number one contender for the title. Man, what do you think about that?
No, 100%. Because even getting the championship match for Eddie in this, they did a 15-man Royal Rumble and SmackDown,
Yes.
which is the first. I think the last time they've done like a Royal Rumble esque type thing. So I very much enjoyed it. I thought that was a good idea, especially since Eddie Guerrero wasn't actually in the Rumble that year. He was facing Chavo
Yeah.
Guerrero. So I don't know. I do like trying to like be creative. And then also, Paul Heyman is one of the minds working the creative team on SmackDown during that time. So
Right.
you could see why he decided to go in certain different avenues with it. But I mean, compare to how we are right now. I mean, you have Jey Uso winning the Rumble, and then now you have a chamber to determine things. I don't know.
Right.
It's interesting for sure. It's more interesting this way. You don't, but at least right now we still don't know what's going to happen. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess they gotta get nowadays. They gotta be more creative with their creativity. I guess because it's so like Chamber is determines the champion, but maybe something happens and then there's like a triple threat or something gets fucked up and I don't know, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. I
Weird
mean,
time.
as long as they switch it up like year to year, like let's say they have the champion defended going into
Right.
the
Yeah.
the the WrestleMania match, I think that'd be an interesting route to go. Not to make it like a number one contendership match every single year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, speaking of switching it up, did you ever switch it up and get yourself a Playboy back in the day?
Funny enough, I actually got myself in trouble in school for this
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it was this Playboy, but it was a commercial advertisement on WWE magazine that featured a thing from the Playboy.
Right.
It was caught in my possession. I was exposed. I got caught up, and I had to write on the chalkboard like Bart Simpson for it. So yeah, very
Was this
fun.
in school? In school you got caught with it?
Yeah, in middle school, yeah, because so this would have been '04, so I would have been like maybe sixth grader, seventh grader.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was still frowned upon back then. Yeah,
Was it like a scratch and sniff thing? You can smell all
no,
the
I mean,
the grundles of Tori Wilson and whatnot in there.
I would assume it'd be much worse if it had been that, but no, it was just mostly just a black and white picture. But they were still pretty mad about it.
Yeah, even if it's just like wrestling, it's like, why are you looking at all these naked, sweaty men in oil, kind of
Exactly.
thing?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, they didn't really care when they saw like Brock Lesnar's junk like bulge and whatnot, like his moose knuckle.
yeah,
But God forbid Tori Wilson get the same love, you know. But
can't
it
do
be what it
that.
be.
Can't do that.
No.
But I bring it up not just to get us all horned up, but that's how we open the show. No video package. It's just, oh my, stupid Michael Cole's voice, and then
Yeah.
Sable and
Yeah.
Tori Wilson come out, the Playboy cover girls for this upcoming edition, I guess. And I don't know. They're just here to welcome everybody and welcome to No Way Out. What do they say? It's like there isn't anything that the superstars won't do, and there's also nothing that we won't do.
Uh-huh.
Talking about cunnilingus, I think, right?
I would assume so. Maybe a little
Yeah.
foreplay, a little cuddling.
I mean, cunnilingus is foreplay now. I guess for maybe if it's just, I guess if you're a lesbian, that is kind of not, that's just the whole
Yeah.
thing, right? It's not
Yeah.
really the foreplay.
Yeah. That and like some scissoring, daddy ass style.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
guess scissoring wouldn't be the preview. It'd be the main feature.
yeah.
Interesting. I never really thought about it.
I don't know. It's different dynamics. Obviously, when different anatomy parts aren't or are involved. So
It's a damn good point. It's a damn
yeah,
good point.
yeah, interesting. I mean,
They get you fired up for No Way Out?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be 2004 if you didn't get your daily dose of Tori Wilson being trotted out on TV with a little dash of Sable. It screams
Mm,
2004 SmackDown. Like it just screams SmackDown. Like Tori Wilson was always on an episode, even if she was backstage or something like that. So I
yeah,
mean, she was the face of SmackDown if you don't count, like everybody else in the male roster. But she was the face of SmackDown, in my opinion.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's a women's title on SmackDown to fight for.
No.
So if you're a woman, you either have to be in Playboy or you have to be competing for the tag team title. Speaking of which,
Mm-hmm.
opening matchup here, we got the tag team champions, the new tag team champions, Rikishi and Scotty 2 Hottie defending against the threesome of Danny Basham, Doug Basham, and Shaniqua.
Shout
Oh
out to
man.
Shaniqua. I forget she's the thing until I go watch Ruthless Aggression era WWE and then remember.
All right. She kind of rules, I think.
Yeah,
No?
with an iron whip.
I mean, yeah, she looks menacing. She looks like she
Yeah,
knows how to use that what do they call it? Cat of nine tails or
Nine-Tail Fox, is that from Naruto? Is that
damn it. I get Matt Ritter on the horn. He would
yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
he would know. He would know. I mean, he's off of
yeah,
work.
it's
He might
familiar.
answer my text message.
For this, yeah, he would.
Yeah, he definitely would.
But yeah, no, this is I mean, whatever. It's opening tag match. Shaniqua is, involved in it, and I guess if they were to win, it'd be Freebird rules. I don't know. They didn't really flesh that out
No,
super
no,
well,
they
but
didn't really unpack that option of what would happen. Would it just be Doug and Danny with the straps, or would all three of them co-share the straps, New Day style, Freebird style?
well, I think Shaniqua has the strap regardless, but I think the Bashams might have the belts.
Oh, yes, of course, of course.
Yeah.
My mistake. Speaking of attires and stuff like that, what do you think of this era of Sky Hottie where he wrestled in like what looked like dirt bike shorts and chucks? Like,
That's what it was. It was Chucks and like snowboard pants or something.
yeah, it just seemed like he went to like a Dick's Sporting Goods before the show, and like that was his gear like throughout like the tail end of his WWE run. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yeah, misses 2 cool days,
I was about to say it doesn't really hit the same without Grandmaster Sexay.
Yeah,
But
100%. Yeah,
I guess this is the first time that they were champions in like the 4 years at this point that they've been teaming. I don't think they had ever been tag team champions. So
I forget that. Yeah, I forget
they
that.
were like one of the hottest teams, but they never had the titles. But
I mean, it was mostly due to Rikishi's cheeks. Everybody likes cheeks, and he was the
right.
cheekiest one back in the Ruthless Aggression era, so popularity is warranted.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He was an ass man way ahead of his time.
Oh, 100%.
Rikishi.
Yeah. He's the original daddy ass.
And he was trying to put that ass to use. Trying to give the old stink face to Shaniqua, but Basham's cut off. That's a lot of what this match is. Shaniqua gets tossed in by Rikishi, goes for a rump shaker or whatever the hell, and the Bashams stop it. Shaniqua cuts off the worm at some point, from the apron. Gives a little lariat to Scotty 2 Hottie, but it was kind of a silly match, but I enjoyed it. What'd you think about it?
Expectations were low. I remember watching it the first time around, so a lot of it came back to me. It was all right. It was a whatever match. It didn't feel like a pay-per-view quality level match. It felt like something you would see on the weekly episode of SmackDown. But a lot of these like brand specific pay-per-views felt that way, where a lot of the there was a lot of filler, a lot of fluff in there, so to speak. The big thing for me when Rikishi was trying to like do the stink face on Shaniqua, I just kept thinking to myself the two Matt Hardy interview, the Matt Hardy interview and the Kurt Angle interview, where Matt Hardy was like, "Oh, it was always pleasant. Like you put baby powder and everything. It smelled great. I love taking the stink face from Rikishi." And then Kurt Angle expressing the complete opposite experience, saying that he had just gone to the bathroom and didn't wipe, and it smelled horrible, and he just like ribbed him. So just I can never look at Rikishi matches ever again. I'm always wondering if he wiped or if he put baby powder prior to the match.
I think it depended if he liked you or not, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I mean, do you see a little like stain on his trunks? If so, maybe he doesn't like whoever he was wrestling that evening.
It'd be a task to see if there's a stain in there because you gotta weed through all. You gotta get in there. It's just that's not gonna happen. So
it's
you're not
a lot.
gonna know unless your head
Yeah,
is in there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
the only person I've ever saw enjoy or want to eagerly take a stink face from Rikishi is Rico. So I'm assuming he might have gotten the baby powder treatment, or he has a certain kind of fetish that we might have unpacked here.
Wouldn't put it past old Reekster.
No, of course not.
I'm sure. But towards the end here, Scotty takes out the Bashams with a clothesline off the apron. And this allows Rikishi to hit the Samoan drop on Shaniqua, followed by the rump shaker bonsai drop.
Yep.
And gets the 1, 2, 3. So Shaniqua takes the pin here.
Gotta
and
make the
Rikishi
Bashrooms
and
look
Scotty
strong,
won.
man. Gotta make the Bashrooms look strong. They're gonna be part of the cabinet soon, so they can't. If they took that out, they might have never joined JBL's cabinet. Shout out
That's
to
what
Shaniqua.
I thought about that too. Is this where Shaniqua breaks off from the
Yes,
Bashams?
exactly, exactly.
It was her fault that they lost.
Hmm.
So kick
Yeah,
her to the curb.
yeah. It's one of those butterfly effects I hear about.
It really is. Well, I mean, when you really think about it, this opening match here is probably the most influential wrestling match of all time because
Yeah,
it gave us the cabinet.
exactly. I love the cabinet, even though they
Do
tormented
you?
all my favorite. Yeah, it's one of those things where you appreciate the work that they did as a heel stable. Like they weren't
Uh,
Evolution, they weren't the Horsemen, they weren't even the Authority, but they were that thorn in the side of every babyface on the SmackDown roster. Looking back at it as a 32-year-old man, I can appreciate the work they did. I can
you
appreciate
big
it.
OJ guy,
I'm sorry.
Orlando Jordan. You're a big
Oh
Orlando Jordan
yeah,
guy.
yeah, especially with a little extra pulp in there. Yeah, I love me some OJ.
Oh, he'll give you some pulp. Yeah, I've seen his TNA run. Let me tell you.
Oh man, that was probably his best run.
Last match with Ultimate Warrior, Orlando Jordan. Fun fact.
Yeah, yeah. Never take that away from him.
Well, you can never take away someone's sight because Tajiri tried to do that to Nydia.
Yeah.
Hence is why we're here. I don't know. I try to segue into this match. So we got Nydia versus Jamie Noble
Yes.
on our hands next. Man, what a time. It should be noted that Jamie Noble is blindfolded during this match just so that she can feel, or that he can feel, what Nydia felt for several months after being blinded with the black mist. What do you remember from this story there, Vince?
I don't remember any of this because I don't think I was paying attention to the storyline whatsoever.
Hmm.
I vaguely remember Nydia being a character on WWE programming. The best thing I remember about Jamie Noble is him getting powerbombed outside the ringside area by Sheamus and being in a
Oh.
suit next to Joey Mercury. Outside outside of that, there's very
How fucking dare you? Your image of Jamie Noble is J&J Security. God damn
no,
it.
no, no. My image of Jamie Noble is like the dude that carry on the Gene Jorts legacy after Billy Kidman dropped them. Because shortly after that, Billy
Mm,
Kidman went to like the trunks, the little tights, little speedos or
right.
whatever. So Jamie
Mm,
Noble took the ball and ran with it. But he was just the dude. He was just that dude in the cruiserweight division that was solid, kind of like Natalia is in the women's division right now. They've just been there for a
right.
long time. Um, yeah, aside of that, apparently he had an inheritance, and he had money, and he was able to get running water in his new living facility.
And
So
it's
kudos,
double wide, baby.
double wide, yes.
Hell yeah, we going Applebee's, baby. Fuck Jamie Noble rules, man.
He rented a limo just to take Nydia to fucking Applebee's. Man, if that ain't balling,
Fine dining.
yeah, this is what LeVar Ball calls a big baller.
Right.
Yes,
Right,
big baller.
exactly.
Yeah, big baller brand.
So yes, Jamie Noble's great aunt or whatever passed away. So we did get an inheritance,
Mhm.
which they gave them the life of luxury. Nydia and Jamie Noble as boyfriend and girlfriend,
Yeah.
and Noble was spending all this money on Nydia. Got her a $5,000 mink coat, and they were
Mhm.
running around having a good time. But then once Nydia got the black mist from Tajiri, that
Yes.
rendered her blind for quite some time, or so we think. Because as she was blind, still coming out with Jamie in his matches,
Mhm.
Jamie would use her as a meat shield because she couldn't see what was happening. So he could just blame it on the other guy or whatever else. So he was taking advantage of her and her ailments. So he's being a bit of a twat, this Jamie Noble,
Oh,
with
yeah. I'm brand with the Jamie Noble character in that point in time.
I suppose so. I
Yeah.
suppose so. But
Yeah.
Nydia got wise to this eventually, and she eventually recovered from her blindness
Mhm.
and used this to get her comeuppance on Jamie and cost him a few matches. So now
Right.
they were at odds, and then Jamie was like, "Get out of my life, Nydia! Give me all my things that I bought you." And then Nydia comes out with a wood chipper and takes
Mhm.
her $5,000 mink coat that Jamie bought her and throws it in the wood chipper. And
Do
Yeah,
you
that's where we're at.
do you believe that she used Jamie Noble's money to pay for the wood chipper?
Oh, that's a good point. I mean, it's got to be expensive to rent a wood
Yeah,
chipper.
yeah. Because the first thing I thought about is like you rented the wood chipper just to ruin the coats. Couldn't you have just gotten like a box of matches or something and gotten the same
Mm,
result for much less? Like if she invested her own financial money, her own capital to rent out
mm.
the wood chipper, I don't know how much she really got back, Should have
So the
just should have just sold the code at that point.
the cost to rent a wood chipper can range from 100 for a couple of hours to thousands of dollars per month. So I guess it's not that expensive actually to rent a wood chipper.
All right. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I'm not going to do anything with that information, but it's good to have, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you gotta do like some trimming, you gotta get rid of some trees or something in the summer,
Oh,
maybe.
I thought that's how you manscape. It's like,
No,
Vince, I don't recommend
no,
that.
no. If you have to manscape, just get manscape. You
It'll
get
trim some wood. Let me tell
yeah,
you.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, but
Speaking of
yeah, I don't
which,
know. I don't know. It was what this match was whatever. It felt like it was just kind of like they're throwing together another match that felt like it could have been like on a regular SmackDown. Uh, the big thing here is the lore for me.
yeah.
Was Jamie Noble able to retain some of that inheritance money, and if so, did he use it to invest in his
Mm,
J&J Security job venture in the future? Was that how he was able
wow.
to get the in? He paid for his spot, or maybe paid for security class. I think you got to get trained for that kind of stuff.
Right. I would think that he was in J&J Security to make money. Maybe he spent it all,
Mm,
came on hard times. I mean, he's in Ring of Honor not too long after this, so
uh,
I would venture to guess that Nydia spent all of it.
yeah. All right.
Unfortunately, too much Applebee's for these two. I think
Yeah. Too much apple in their bees. Yeah. I
that's
see.
what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they say. But yeah, whatever. It's a silly match. Nydia, Jamie Noble, two intergender matches in a row, by the way, which seems weird.
Yeah, saw a theme here. I thought that's where we were gonna go for the whole show. I didn't even look at the card, and
Yeah,
I didn't even look at the card. I just knew what the main event was, and that was it. I was like, I'm gonna go raw dog this pay per view.
that's the only way to do it, man. You
Yeah,
just gotta roll the dice and push it in past the intestines. Is how
yeah,
you.
yeah. Avoid the wood chipper at all costs.
Yes. Also
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Also that. So the blindfold is like a hood that Jamie has to put over his head, and he puts it on, and then he charges forward because he at least knows where she was when he put on the hood, which is
Hmm.
something that always bothers me in blindfold matches. Is
Hmm.
they'll like put the blindfold on, and then immediately they're confused, like where is anything? But like, no, you
Right.
just were seeing stuff. You like know where at least they kind of are.
Yeah.
So as far as a blindfold match, as far as an intergender blindfold match, this is
Hmm.
pretty much as good as it could have been. I think you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
Nydia.
Yeah.
Nydia kind of getting a little bit of revenge. Yeah, as he's blindfolded, she's like playing with him, kicking him in the ass, and she pantses him at some point.
Yeah.
Um, but ultimately,
She dry humped them.
oh yeah, that was I did not approve of that. I did not
No,
approve of
it was
that.
not consensual dry humping. If you're gonna dry hump, you should get the consent.
That's what you always say. You always say that to me, and I never listen.
It,
Um,
it's okay. It's one of those free use situations that we were talking about on SmackDown this week.
right, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
But Nydia or Noble, eventually he cheats and he peeks out of the hood or whatever and tosses Nydia off the top rope and then locks her in a guillotine choke for the tap out. It's pretty
yeah,
brutal, but
yeah. It was one way to do it. Logistically, it kind of makes sense. You just kind of want to get your hands on the person if you're blindfolded, put a submission move on them, and hope they tap out because you can't really go with your normal offense. So
yeah.
strategically, it was probably the best way to go for the victory.
No, I feel like with the blindfold match though, you gotta tie that thing on, man. They threw a pillowcase over his head and were like, "All right, Scout's honor, don't take it off," kind of thing.
Right.
But I don't know.
Well, if they tie it, well, it should be a blindfold then. Like that way you can tighten it and make sure it doesn't come off. But if you use a pillowcase, you're just kind of hoping, like, unless you put like some like a string or something to tie it, you might choke them. So that might be counterproductive. block
But
their
that would
airways.
give them the urgency to win. You got to win before you run out of air. That's a whole nother thing.
Mm.
Suffocation match.
A
Thoughts?
suffocation. Write that down. That might be something that GCW can do.
Yeah.
Suffocation
They get
match. Yeah.
the Death Riders plastic bags. They each
Yeah.
tie them on with rubber bands or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you have like a certain amount of time. You got to pin your opponent.
Oh yeah,
Before you
yeah,
die.
yeah. If not, you end up like that one dude from Better Call Saul that gets killed in front of Nacho Varga.
Oh yeah. Who
Yeah.
was that?
I don't know, but he had an interesting hairdo. Imagine if do you think he ever got that pulled during sex?
Who, Nacho?
No, the dude that got killed, because he had like kind of like a mohawk thing, and then he had like the ponytail thing going on the top, but the sides were cut off.
What was his character? I just watched this like
He
not
was
that long ago.
He was generic Latino,
Was he just like a henchman.
Just a henchman. He was given a name, but not like a memorable role. To be honest with you,
I'll tell you what's memorable.
Yes.
The APA versus the world's greatest tag team.
Man, talk about tag team wrestling.
If one thing's for certain, this was a tag team match. You're not wrong about that.
They tagged in and out as per the rules of tag matches.
Tag ropes were used, I think, maybe, and it was wrestling. So really all there is. But one thing of note, though, is that on SmackDown before this, there was a singles match between Bradshaw and Shelton Benjamin, which is interesting because very soon after this, these two guys go individual on their singles careers. I'm wondering if that was like a test of some sort.
Could be.
But yeah, the whole time I'm watching this match is it's a fine match. It's whatever, but it's like this is all going to be a moot point within a matter of a month or two because JBL is going to be champion. Shelton's going to be off to the races on Raw, and then Charlie will be with Rico. So,
yeah. I mean, we just talked about Rico, so it came full circle in the.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Say his name and he appears just like Joe Henry.
Yeah, he comes for a circle.
Exactly. I thought it was interesting because JBL picked up the victory on the SmackDown prior to the show, and they set up the tag match. But then he's the one that takes the pin. Granted, he did succumb to an injury that was that he had on SmackDown by the hands of Shelton Benjamin. Shout out to him using Chris Jericho's most dangerous move, the armbar, to do the damage on the arm for JBL. But it's interesting. I just kind of look back on things and you just kind of don't care, especially because both these teams' objectives are the tag titles, and they don't come anywhere near close to the tag titles at any more points after this.
Yeah, geez, yeah, because APA is almost done, and so is World's Greatest Tag Team. So it's interesting in hindsight. But again, fine match. Just the psychology of it. JBL, like you said, or Bradshaw, like you said, his arm was injured on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So they target the arm of Farouk as well.
Yeah.
But then once Bradshaw gets the hot tag, he's in there with a House of Fire, powerbomb to Shelton. And then he hits the clothesline from hell onto Charlie Haas, but he hits it with the injured arm.
Yes.
So he's not able to capitalize, and Shelton hits a super kick on him to take advantage. And World's Greatest Tag Team gets the win here. So
why not?
Sure, why not? They have to. It's a weird period for SmackDown.
Yes,
like
it definitely was.
These pay-per-views get very spread thin. And we're starting to enter that weird era, but this is kind of a representation of it. But it didn't offend me. It wasn't terrible.
True.
But man, we cut to everybody's favorite bald man, Bill Goldberg, entering the crowd. Entering the arena through the crowd.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about Matt Riddle again.
Everybody's favorite bald man that is not Matt Ritter. Goldberg.
Okay. Yes.
Gets in here. By the way, did you catch his shirt? The shirt that he was wearing?
No. What was he wearing?
It was a Santa's Sleigh shirt, which is a horror movie that he was in.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen it. But Santa's Sleigh, but Sleigh spelled S-L-A-Y.
Pun game is strong with that movie title.
I mean, Getting Off has to review this if they haven't already.
Listen,
I would assume they have.
Well, I don't know. Katie is one half, and she's not a Goldberg fanatic. So she might
Mm.
protest or refuse to participate in said reviewing of the show. So there may be an open slot if you want to join in.
I mean, I'm looking for a reason to watch Santa's sleigh. So it was filming. They were filming it at this point. It came out in
Oh,
2005.
okay.
I mean, it's got 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. It doesn't seem like a terrible movie.
I mean, I think at that point you just kind of have to raw dog it, go in blind, just like Jamie Noble, and hope for the best.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. So the lore surrounding Goldberg at this point is so he was in the Royal Rumble. He was cost the match by Brock Lesnar, who
Yes.
came in F5'd him, and then that caused him to get eliminated.
Mhm.
Goldberg, of course, wants his revenge on Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Hence why he is here. He received a ticket from Stone Cold Steve Austin, who had a ringside seat to offer Goldberg. So Goldberg is not on SmackDown, but he had a ticket, so he's just here to watch the show from the crowd.
He was a fan that day.
He's a fan. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Yeah.
So he's here to kind of witness and not get involved with the Brock Lesnar match. But Paul Heyman doesn't see it that way because he comes out, which, by the way, Paul Heyman was speared by Goldberg
Yes.
on Raw the previous week. So he's coming out here holding his ribs, still selling it. He's eyeing down Goldberg. And he grabs the mic and he's like, "You better just sit there and watch or I'll call the police on you, sir."
Mm.
And then Brock Lesnar comes out.
Yes.
And he says, Brock is like, "I'm not intimidated by you. Why don't you come meet me in the ring right now? Why are you going to wait till my match? Just come and get me, Goldberg." Paul is like, no. Don't hop that barricade. Stay there. Stay where you're at. And Brock's like, "Well, you going to be a little bitch?" And then Goldberg's like, I ain't no bitch, said Bill Goldberg. So he hops the barricade. They get in the ring. Shirts off. Both of them. Not Paul's. I wish it was, though.
He should have been the main one to take off the shirt.
I mean, I'm watching all this. That's like, this is pretty intense. Like, this match could have been good at WrestleMania.
Oh, it could have, 100%. They just kind of phoned it in because they were both out the door.
Yeah, it's so crazy, man. That both these. I wonder if they're both like already like. They got to be like already have one foot out the door at this point. So.
Oh yeah, I think at this point, the reason why they took the title off of Brock was because he had already let them know that he's leaving after WrestleMania.
Right.
So then that's when they decided to do the Brock Goldberg match. And I think at this point now, Goldberg has let them know. It's like, yeah, I'm out the door too. Which is crazy. Crazy to think.
Yeah. Such like a quick turnaround because they were both world champions just a few months ago. And then within a few months, they're both just not even with the company anymore. It's crazy how fast that could happen.
What's crazy too is that Brock Lesnar's run at this time from 2002 to 2004, it was only a 2-year run, but like it feels like he was there for like years, more than that. It's crazy to think that he's wrestled like more longer period of time currently with this current run that he's had recently. But
he wrestled as long with the ponytail as his original run was.
That's wild to think about. Cowboy Brock has the same longevity as Baby Brock.
Wild stuff. But ultimately, Heyman distracts Goldberg. This allows Brock Lesnar to attack him, goes for the F5. But Goldberg counters this into the jackhammer.
Yes.
Hits it on Brock Lesnar, and this causes Paul Heyman to call for security, and they cuff Goldberg, take him out. But damage is done at this point. My question is, should this have been it? Like, did we need more Goldberg later in the show, or could they have just left it at this?
Maybe perhaps the only reason they could have left it at this 100%. They didn't need the extra stuff, so I'll preface it by saying that they didn't need him to show back up. I think the only reason they did it is because they felt, or at least the man booking the show at the time felt like it wasn't believable enough that Eddie Guerrero could dethrone Brock Lesnar, so they had to throw another thing at him. So
unfortunately,
so
well, more on that later, I suppose.
We'll address it later.
So Brock is like laid out in the ring. He's getting up, and then Hardcore Holly comes out, which I like this little bit of continuity because they had just been feuding. They had a match at Royal Rumble, and Hardcore happens to have the next match, but he sees Brock in there. He's like, well, I still hate this guy. So it's a rare moment in this era
Yes.
where like the universes feel connected.
Mhm.
So Hardcore comes out to take on the Man Beast, Rhino. Hardcore Holly Rhino. Match of the year?
Yeah. I mean, I did not expect to finish. I will admit that I forgot that Hardcore Holly's finish was the Alabama Slam. So
Of course.
Alabama
What do
Slam.
you think it was?
What, I don't remember what his finisher was. Honestly, I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember what his finish was in the middle of this match. It was like, if like, what's going to be his finishing move? Then he hits the Alabama Slam, and I associate it so much more with Cody Rhodes now that he uses it as a transitional move. And now
You know why? You know that's why Cody does it. It's an homage to Hardcore Holly.
Yes, he does 100% because that was his tag team partner with his first tag team title reign. So
right, pal.
Yeah, until he turned on him with Ted Jr. But yeah, I just couldn't remember his finish. So match of the year possibly. This felt to me like a match you would see in WWE ECW at some point. Because
Right. It
like,
probably did, yeah.
like it really screamed like, "Hey, mid card dudes, they feel extreme. Let's put them on sci-fi."
Dude, it's the crazy thing is like this. Like I'm looking at this on paper, it's like a total throwaway who gives a fuck undercard match. But
Yeah.
this is like the two guys outside of like the main event of this show. These
Yeah.
are like the two guys next in line
Yes.
for the main event in terms of like button up against the main event from the mid cards. That's just the state of SmackDown at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Hardcore Holly and Rhino are like at least adjacent to the title picture. Which is
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, I think if did Rhino go to Raw in the draft after this?
possibly.
because
Yeah. He doesn't do a lot in WWE after this.
No, he doesn't because he slowly transitions in 2005 to TNA. But I remember he
Yes.
challenged for the world title shortly after. Well, what's his name? Won the title at WrestleMania 20. He had a match against him for the world title at some point on an episode of Raw, perhaps. And then prior to this, at the Rumble, the champion, the challenger to the champion was Hardcore Holly. And ironically enough, the only reason you got that match was because Brock Lesnar sandbagged him and dropped him on his head. So if Brock Lesnar never drops Hardcore Holly on his head, I don't think he ever gets his first and only WWE title match.
Not at all. Yeah, absolutely not. It's just
we're talking about
maybe
butterflies.
more people should,
you know,
that's a hell of a butterfly, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe more people should throw their bodies and try to break their necks to create a long-term storyline. Just something to throw out there.
I might tamper with that idea later on. I'll ask my wife, "Hey, can you drop me on my head, see if our fortunes turn? Like see what storylines in our lives happen after this?"
Yeah, maybe not in outside of pro wrestling.
You meant strictly in the wrestling. Oh, okay. I thought you meant.
I mean, I'm sure other like porn. I guess that would shoot you into a different genre, which could have positive effects.
Yeah,
could pay dividends.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
So a little bit.
So leave it to the professions. Leave it.
Yeah.
Okay, not your day-to-day life. Got it. All right.
Well, Rhino's here. He gores Holly. Holly rolls out of the ring. Almost gets counted out, but gets in at 9. Oh. Alabama Slam win. Those are my only notes.
So my notes on this is that for whatever reason, I was really paying attention where Cole complimented Rhino having some thick thighs. For whatever reason, that was a talking point. It's like, oh man,
he does have thick thighs.
He does have thick thighs. Thick thighs save lives, apparently.
That's what they say.
I mean, if he had his thighs wrapped around his neck, he might not have broke it when Brock Lesnar dropped them. So there's always that as an option.
Yeah.
Did it feel weird to you that randomly in the middle of the match, Michael Cole and Taz, they're like, "Oh yeah, the Spanish commentator team is right here too. Let's hear what they have to say." And then they start commenting the pay-per-view.
Nothing going on here. Hey Hugo, what do you got to say about this? Bienvenidos, Michael Cole or whatever.
Yeah, they talked a little bit too fast for even my liking. I was like, wait, what? Time out, pause, hold up. And
did you get anything they said?
No. They were just happy to be there. They were calling the match, doing some play-by-play mostly. calling it like they saw it, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Suspended Day, that was odd. I guess, I mean, the whole show, it's like, I guess the Cow Palace in San Francisco,
Yeah.
it's big, and Lucha Libre and the Hispanic culture. I mean, they're over in that side of the country, so.
Yeah, that's true. The way I interpreted it was they usually do the hey, I'm Michael Cole and Taz, and here's the Spanish announce team at the beginning of every pay-per-view. But because they were so smitten with Tori Wilson and Sable at the beginning, then they did the video package, then they went to the first match. Maybe they just forgot to do the Spanish commentary team.
I'm gonna blow your tits off. They did do that.
They did
in this show. They did it in the beginning, and they did it here.
Oh, okay. So they just wanted to double dip, is what you're saying.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, whatever. Hardcore Holly wins,
Yes.
and brings us to a match that surprised me in how good it was.
Mhm.
We have a cruiserweight championship match.
Yes.
Champion Rey Mysterio taking on Chavo Guerrero.
Yes.
We got Jorge. Do you know Jorge Paez by any chance?
I don't know him. If it wasn't for that appearance, I would not have known he existed. But
apparently a good boxer back in the day. I don't know.
Shout out. Do you think Tyson Kidd was a fan of his?
I was gonna make the comparison. The stupid fucking haircut with the rhino horn on his bald head.
Oh,
Eat my ass, Jorge Paez.
Hey, I mean, I don't think you want his face anywhere near your butt or anything.
Well, the horn would depend how we were situated.
Yeah, the angle of the horn, and
yeah, could be nice though.
I mean, if you're into that, sure.
Well, Chavo Senior here as well with Chavo Guerrero. So Chavo's dad's in the picture now. He's Chavo's manager.
Yes.
So Rey Mysterio contacted Jorge Paez, a boxing champion, during this time. Also in the music video, Rey Mysterio's music video for his song "Crossing Borders,"
the one that I can hear.
Yes, that one, the one that you loved at the beginning of this.
Yes.
So that's the scene here. But I mean, is this Chavo Guerrero's best match ever?
It's one of the best matches I've seen of Chavo Guerrero. Granted, I don't sit here and analyze and really look at Chavo Guerrero matches like that, to be fair. Right. But it's fantastic. He picked up the victory, which is not too surprising. He has a really good win-loss record against Rey Mysterio. Can't really say the same thing about his uncle Eddie, which is crazy. You know, like it's Eddie, like Chavo can't beat Eddie, but Chavo can beat Rey. Rey can't beat Chavo, but he can beat Eddie. And then
styles make fights, man.
Yeah, you know, it's like paper scissors rock, or like the Pokemon trios. You know, fire beats grass, grass beats water, water beats fire.
Exactly.
That's how it works. That's how it works. Great match, fantastic. It paid up, especially once Jorge Paez dipped, and old Chavo classic Cheech doppelganger took that knockout punch, and like once they were left to just in-ring wrestling and all the shenanigans were out of the equation, off to the races, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like good false finish after good false finish, because like you said, at some point Rey hits the 619 on the Chavo, and Chavo Senior gets involved, grabs Rey's leg, and then Jorge Paez comes in, knocks out Chavo Senior, and the ref kicks out Jorge, so he's gone, and Senior's knocked out, and like you said, now it's just down to the two dudes in the ring. And like you mentioned, man, Chavo with the Dean Malenko second rope gut buster. He's attacking the ribs. The crowd's booing the shit out of him, so he's getting some good heat, Chavo.
Oh yeah, and they love their Mexicans over there in Cali, in the Cow Palace, who was doing a good job getting that heat.
They do like the old Rey and Eddie monkey flip spot where they're grabbing each other's hands, and, throwing each other on each other's shoulders, and some hot stuff. I mean, then Chavo cuts him off with a sick tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Rey throws out a skull-crushing finale randomly in this match, which caught me off guard.
The hell was that? I was not familiar with your game, Rey. I did not knew you had that. I mean, at one point, Chavo hit the gory special, and Ray kicked out at 2, and the commentary team, Cole and Taz, had no idea what it was called. There was
I think that was the first time he ever did it.
like because he wasn't or maybe he was doing it in the matches, but wasn't using it as a finisher. Because I was pleasantly surprised to see Rey Mysterio kick out of Chavo's finish. You know,
Yeah, there were several points where I was like, because Chavo doesn't really have an established finish at this point. Because I mean,
No.
like the story, I mean, him and Eddie, their storyline was kind of true. Like Eddie was beyond the focal point of the tag team, so nobody even really paid attention to what Chavo was doing.
I mean, he had to take the baby bottle. That's all he could take. You know, and he still
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Chavo, it's like a gourd buster.
Mhm.
I'm like, is that his finish? But it wasn't. And then Ray's throwing out apron DDTs and moonsaults. Like, man, these guys are really opening up their bag in this one.
For sure. 100%.
I mean, the spot in the match where Ray hits a 619, does the springboard senton.
Yeah.
Chavo rolls through it into the single leg crab. I was like, oh, this could be it, but it wasn't. So they had me biting.
Yeah, they did.
Moving this one.
After he didn't get the victory from the single leg crab, or I think that's Eddie's version, the lasso from El Paso, almost like it was like a modified version because Eddie grabs both legs, but he just kind of did the one. I thought that was going to be the finish, and once he didn't get the win at that point, I forgot. I'm like, wait, does Chavo pick up the title at this point, or does he pick it up later on before WrestleMania, or does he get it at WrestleMania? And I really started to wonder at what points Chavo gets the championship gold, and I thought, Ray's got this match if he's kicking out of everything.
Right. Yeah, because like you said, they face each other so many times, like from this point forward. So it's like I don't even know who wins what.
It's a blur at that point.
But ultimately, Ray goes to the top rope. Chavo Sr. is finally awake from that knockout punch. Shoves Ray off the top rope into the top rope. And Chavo rolls him up with the tights. Gets the 1, 2, 3. New cruiserweight champion. Ooh, Chavo.
Well, he didn't even come out with that theme song yet. He hadn't had that theme song yet. That's how new this singles run was for Chavo. I forgot he came out with that old Chavo, that old Eddie Guerrero WCW theme.
Right. Very George Lopez-esque, this theme song.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, good job. Shout out Chavo Guerrero. I mean, I shit on Chavo Guerrero a lot for stupid frog splash, but man, when he can go when the time comes.
Yeah, 100%. There's a reason why he was the final 6 in the SmackDown 6.
Yeah, he is number 6. That is Chavo. But they go backstage, like pretty much right after the match. Josh Matthews interviews Chavo, and they're right outside of Eddie Guerrero's locker room. And Chavo, he's still salty at Eddie, of course, and he's like, "Eddie's an addict. He's never gonna win a title here." Because Chavo's, he's got this new title over his shoulder, so he's all big and hard cocked, and just furthering the build for the main event. So Chavo, good match, pretty good promo here, sets up the main event. So all thumbs up my ass for this one.
Oh, 100%. I know there's a lot of always discord in wrestling, especially nowadays, where you pair up like 2 Latinos against each other. I'm here to tell you that 9 times out of 10, us Mexicans, us Latinos, we actually enjoy it. We don't give a fuck. We don't get our panties in a bunch about it. We actually want to see all the Mexicans wrestle each other or be teamed up with each other. So getting to see this at the Cow Palace, I thought was fantastic. They always tear the house down, Chavo and Ray. So thumbs up the butts all around as well.
It felt like a big match too. Like to your point, being in the environment that they were in, everybody's there to see Eddie, but also you have these 2 not luchadors, but these 2 Mexican wrestlers going at each other in a title match. I guess Chavo's kind of a luchador, but yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff. At that point, that's when like the pay-per-view really just like hit that next level, flip that switch, that kill switch, so to speak. Shout out Christian Cage. But shout out to him. And after that point, they really set the tone, and they really like made the rest of the pay-per-view feel like an actual pay-per-view. So
they set the table for a WWE title #1 contendership triple threat match. So the winner of this match goes on to face the champion at WrestleMania. We got Kurt Angle versus John Cena versus The Big Show. man, this was like a kind of a chaotic match,
Yes.
but I was pretty entertained by this. What do you think about it?
I loved it the way that this match started by everyone taking turns watching. Because the match
Yes.
started the match started, I think it was Angle and Show, and then John Cena's just watching, and then at that
Yep.
point, Kurt Angle's watching, and then Big Show's watching. So they each take turns satisfying the other person while the third person is just watching in the
All right.
corner in the chair.
They had the cuck chair set. Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. Unfortunately, Kurt Angle is when he crossed the line because he tried to finish too soon, and Big Show just wasn't happy. He
That's a
wanted a little
no-no.
bit more titillation, a little bit more foreplay, a little bit more fun. He's like, no, 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 no. I didn't bring my tiny U.S. title on my big old chest just to have you finish quickly, Kurt. You're gonna last a little bit longer with us here. Um,
Stupid US title, man.
oh man, it looks like a toy on Big Show, but it looked
He doesn't even like touch it. He just throws it on and like it's like he forgets it's even on him.
yeah, like in video games, like in the video game, that's how a championship
Yeah.
title used to look like on the video games. They just be on the wrestler and they just be like glitchy,
Right.
floating on the shoulder and stuff like that. He does the taunt, but the title doesn't fall off because it's super glued
Right.
to his.
It goes through his arm. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's how you know it's real.
But yeah, no, I agree. I like how it started out with because like triple threat matches are always weird. Like, how do you even go about this? Do you do a three-way tie
Yeah.
up? Does one guy, escape to the outside and just let the other two fight?
Mhm.
But the way they framed it, and that each Kurt and John were taking turns trying to take down the Big Show, but the Big Show's this big bad monster, so
Mhm.
neither of them can do it alone.
Yeah.
Um, any spots in this match particular tickle your pickle?
I don't know about spots specifically, but I love that obviously John Cena came in with like a bullseye, like had a white
Yes,
like what was it, like a knee brace or whatever.
knee brace.
Kurt
Yeah.
Angle kept going after it and what have you. And eventually that's what did him in. In the end, he
Hmm.
took that loss and tapped out. Uh I don't know. Nothing really like stood out too greatly for me. Everything was just like, that's good. That was also a good spot.
Yeah.
That's logical wrestling like 101. It was just really, really good. It was just solid, but nothing really stood out to me specifically. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, but this match is kind of just spot after spot. Like Cena hits the FU to Big Show,
Hmm.
which is always impressive.
Yeah.
But then Kurt DDT'd, or no, John DDT'd Kurt,
Hmm.
and then all three of them were down.
Yeah.
Angle with an angle slam to Big Show for a 2 count. Big Show with a choke slam to Kurt, but then Cena follows up right away with a schoolboy to Big Show.
Yeah.
And then Show kicks out, choke slam Cena, ankle with an ankle lock to Big Show. Almost has him, but Show's able to shove him off. Um, Big Show, and then to your point, because Cena's coming in with the injured knee, which
Yeah.
is that famous, like when he gets thrown out of the Rumble and lands awkwardly.
Yeah.
So he has that knee brace on, and Big Show takes advantage of this by body slamming him knee first into the corner.
Jesus. It
And
was
then
brutal.
Kurt Angle slams Big Show over the top rope,
Hmm.
which sounds crazy just to say it, but
Yeah.
that's what happened. Then Angle chop blocks Cena again, taking advantage of the injured leg, and then locks in the ankle lock. And then Cena taps out pretty much right away. So very, logical finish.
Yeah.
And it was a fun match to watch, I thought.
It very much was. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's just like one of those things where like you're gonna get something good, nothing memorable, like a big spot that you can go back to, just
Yeah.
like the Chavo and Ray match prior to it. Heck, even the Hardcore Holly and Rhino match had like a spot or two that I really remember fondly, like especially like
Right.
hitting the gore, Hardcore rolls out and what have you. Um, I don't know. It was just there. It was just solid. There was just like a lot of history between these guys, and this match just kind of felt like it was a match that they just kind of had to get through to set up every other match that they're trying to do on the rest of the card. Because you needed to get to
Right.
Kurt Angle Eddie, you need to get to John Cena Big Show, and it just felt like this is kind of like a stopgap match to get us to where we need to
Yeah.
go. So it's like we're obligated to have this match, but we kind of knew where it was going. Honestly,
Looking past it a little bit.
yeah. In hindsight, yes, we could say we knew where it was going. I don't think John was ready for that title just yet.
He's getting there, though. People love him. People love him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But one main reason that match probably isn't very memorable is because what happens after is very memorable. We have the WWE Championship on the line. Brock Lesnar defending against Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
Whew. So the way we got here, like you mentioned, they had the 15-man Royal Rumble on SmackDown following the real Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where Eddie won. So Eddie becomes the number one contender for the first time in his career. And him and Brock have some awesome promos on SmackDown
Yes.
back and forth.
Yes.
Eddie's like calling back to him getting fired in 2001 and all of his past addictions, which I can see being kind of like not in poor taste, but I don't know, some people don't like that kind of stuff. But the way he took it
Mm-hmm.
and tied it in to this title match, like that title represents like me overcoming every obstacle
Yes.
that's been put that as me, almost like apologizing to everyone that he hurt along the way.
Mhm.
Like if I win that title, all is forgiven, kind of thing. So that it added like the layer of story below it added stakes to the match itself. So I thought the buildup was amazing, even though it was only like 2 weeks of buildup. But
Right. Yeah. I mean, it gave us Brock Lesnar dancing with mariachis. So, I mean, it gets.
not everything was great.
Listen. Again, I don't know why. I can't excuse it. I can't condone it. But I very much enjoyed that segment. I thought it was very funny. I thought that's where you saw like inklings of like comedic Brock.
Oh, Money in the Bank, Brock.
Yeah,
Hell yeah,
yeah, with the beatbox and what happened?
beatbox Brock.
Yeah, block the Brock party, Brock.
Brock party. I knew there was like
Yeah,
some
yeah,
sort of tagline.
yeah, something like that. But it was good stuff. They had chemistry leading up to it with the promos. They had chemistry in the ring. This very, very, very good. I enjoyed everything leading up to it, and they did a very good job of not only in the build up making it seem like Brock Lesnar is this like unbeatable task and like hurdle for Eddie Guerrero to get through. And they, like you
Mhm.
said, they framed it in the same thing. Like he's always had to overcome these demons and these challenges in his life. This is one that Eddie Guerrero won't be able to get through. And then they did a great job of having you root for the guy. I think like Eddie Guerrero is the perfect example of a guy that was a tag team dude, uh,
Mhm.
singles dude in the mid card, maybe someone that you probably didn't think could be a world champion, but was probably one of the most memorable world champion victories, and like to like a lesser extent reign because he only had the one reign for a few months there. Um,
Mhm.
kind of see a little bit parallels with Jey Uso because Jey Uso is that over babyface, wasn't a tag team, getting a little bit of a single run. He won the Royal Rumble. Granted, Eddie had to win the 15-man Rumble, so wasn't as challenging or as impressive as Jay's.
Hold on. Let me set the record straight. You're saying here on the apron bump, Jey Uso better than Eddie Guerrero.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying his
Jay won a 30-man Rumble. Eddie only had to beat 14 other guys.
numbers are numbers. He only 15 more men that Jay had to beat, essentially, or yeet, I guess is the kids say. Um,
Right.
but it's very similar. There's parallels in the two climbs, and then him winning the Rumble, now challenging Gunther. Almost very similar to what they're doing right now with Brock and Eddie. He has this hurdle he
Oh.
has to try to overcome. Granted, he's had two cracks at the ball with Gunther, but again, I wouldn't be mad now. Like seeing this match, seeing this pay per view, really kind of like gave me a new appreciation for Jey Uso and the rise and the build to his match going into WrestleMania.
I mean, that's how fucking good Eddie Guerrero is that even in hindsight, he can make the current product better, which is just
Even in heaven, he's putting over the young talent. He's helping
look
everyone
at this
get
guy.
over. What a
He's doing more for the business than Chris Jericho is. Eddie Guerrero is. So,
yeah.
well, anyways, we got no the build. Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying
Yeah.
though. This guy who's been like underneath for so long and doesn't
Now he's
really
on
seem
top.
like the top guy, but now he has to overcome this obstacle. I could definitely see the parallels
Yeah,
for sure.
100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I love this. Go on. I'll let you.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
this.
Eddie, look, I mean, we're here in the main event.
Mhm.
There's this huge Eddie sign on the hard cam shot
Yes.
where everybody's holding up one letter. It's
Mhm.
like taking up half the fucking section, but
Yeah,
it's so, I mean,
it's worth it.
that plus the chance as soon as Eddie comes out, as soon as he's in the ring, huge Eddie chance right away. Crowd fucking loves him.
Yes.
And they want to see a new champion. You got to think like, so like they're obviously planting seeds at this point for
Mm,
Brock and Goldberg.
right.
Kurt Angle is challenging for the WWE title.
Mhm.
So like when you put all the pieces together, like was it almost like predictable that Eddie was going to win here? Because it's not like you're going to have Brock win
Mhm.
and then what, have like Brock versus Goldberg versus Kurt Angle or something like that. I guess you could.
Um, like they were teasing Brock and Goldberg. However, like they literally just did Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. Roles reverse this time around. You know, Kurt will be the challenger versus Brock being the champion. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I wasn't really watching full time like at that point in time, so I don't know what the general consensus feeling of the predictability of the things. I felt like I feel like it was closer to like a Kofi Mania maybe, or like even like you felt like it could happen, but you weren't sure just because of who was booking, the company that it was happening under, and the wrestler that it was. Normally, history dictates that unless you're Shawn Michaels and you're that size, you're probably not walking away
Mhm.
with the title. So, I mean, and then also he was a minority. Like, I don't think there was a Latino champion at that point since Pedro Morales, you know,
Yeah, I was about to say, I think so. I
and
think that was the
then
last one.
he was a husky man. He was a big beefy man, you know.
Right.
He, you know, Eddie was too, but you know he's more of a smaller stature. But I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't think it was too predictable. Because I never thought I'd see the day where Eddie Guerrero was going to be WWE champion. He legit just felt like tag team dude.
No, yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I don't exactly remember what I was thinking at the time
Right.
because I was watching live, but even like watching live, like the thought of Eddie Guerrero holding a
Hmm.
world title was just like that's not going to happen. Like for the reasons you said. I mean, the past few champions, Brock, Kurt, Big
Yeah.
Show, and they got Triple H on the other side, Goldberg, like all these like everybody always says land of the giants,
Yeah.
but that's what it
I
was.
was about to mention that same phrase, "Land of the Giants." It really was that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess old man at the top was willing to gamble both on Raw and SmackDown
So
during this point.
let me ask you this question, and I hate to ask it because I feel like it might discredit Eddie Guerrero's victory here and discredit him as a champion just slightly in some people's views by saying this. But if they don't have Goldberg and Brock Lesnar leave, or at least one of them doesn't leave, you would imagine that would be for the title. With both of them out the door, they had to pivot to somebody. So they pivot to the guy that they trust with good wrestling matches at that point in time in Kurt Angle, and they trust a guy that's over and popular with the fans and really hot at that point in Eddie Guerrero, and then you go with
Yeah.
that route. So, like, would that match happen? Would Eddie Guerrero get his victory if Brock Lesnar and Goldberg don't leave? Or at least one of them doesn't
Ooh.
leave. Because if at least one of them leaves, then you could just put the title on the other person.
Yeah. Wow. I never even really thought about that. Yeah. I guess Goldberg Brock for the WWE title. I guess that could have been a thing.
Yeah, they would have been no point to do that SmackDown Rumble because they were already setting
Yeah.
up that match, so they could have like easily found a way to get to that match anyways. And then there's no need to do the triple threat match because you already knew you were going to do Kurt Angle and you know you're going to do Big Show Cena. So I don't
Right.
know. It just it puts some things in perspective just because I get a lot of the same thing with Rey Mysterio, where it's like, oh well, if Eddie didn't pass away, he probably doesn't win the
Yeah.
Rumble and doesn't win the championship. One could also make the argument, and I hate to be the one that makes the argument that Eddie Guerrero might not get that championship if both Goldberg and Brock don't leave at that year's WrestleMania.
No, yeah, that's a good point. The only thing though is that like Goldberg and Brock leaving
Mhm.
didn't affect Chris Benoit winning the world title. So if they're
No,
willing to give Benoit the title, I don't
that's
see why not
true.
they'd be willing to give Eddie the
That's
title.
very true. That's very true. That would be the counter argument, as for sure. I mean, if we were in a court of law, that's how you rebuttal.
Yeah, I mean, but it also, I mean, it could have been like, all right, well, if we're gonna give Eddie the title, god damn it, we'll just give all the vanilla midgets the title. Let's see if they like this. And then they didn't, and then they took it off.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it was all a snowball effect, but
who knows?
it'd be
I mean, we were talking about butterflies. Butterflies continue to fly throughout this episode.
butterfly.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Chile.
Yeah.
What's the song? Is that Sugar Ray? She my butterfly,
Mm.
sugar, but you know that song, right? Right.
No, probably not.
First Sugar Ray reference on this show ever, I think. But yeah, no, I mean, I think whatever the case is, Eddie's here, and I don't remember a lot about the match itself. I remember the finish.
Right.
I didn't really remember a lot about the match itself, but in watching it, I mean, it's kind of what you would expect. You know, it's Brock, the big bad monster, Eddie, who's seemingly he has no odds at winning this. So Eddie has to use like his craftiness to like try to get the advantage. Like Brock's like he's overpowering him, he's suplexing him, but every once in a while Eddie will sneak in like a hot shot on the top rope or like crotch him on the post or little kicks to he's like kind of slowly chopping him down with like drop kicks to the leg and figure fours and STFs. So it's like as the match progresses, you see Brock become more frustrated and more like desperate. He's like trying to get these quick amateur style pins that just like, I just gotta beat him, but he can't beat him. So the story they told throughout the match, I enjoyed.
100%. Commentary did a really good job of selling the story as well because Taz was saying like I think Brock thought, and I did as well, that he was going to come in here and have a night off against Eddie Guerrero because of the overwhelming size and the disparity between the two. Then as the match goes on, it's like, okay, maybe I can't easily beat him. Okay, he's starting to be a nuisance. Okay, he's starting to frustrate me. Okay, he's pissing me off. Okay, now I'm a little worried that if I fuck up, I lose. And it always felt like that. It always felt like Eddie Guerrero put himself in the position in that match to where if Brock Lesnar messed up and gave him the shot, he could capitalize. Granted, it didn't feel like Eddie could be like, all right, win it. Like it had to have been, here's my opening. I'm gonna take it. This is my shot.
Right.
Boom. Right. You were asking me in the previous match, did one spot really stand out to you? I think the spot that really stood out to me here is I forgot that Brock Lesnar was the first one to use Ryback's finisher, the shell shock, because he hit that on Eddie Guerrero. It was like, oh shit. He even stopped on the floor a little bit. He did a little march. He did a little march. I was like, Ryback, you're not so original.
A little Skip Sheffield was watching that, like, oh, I could do that.
Yeah, got a little inspiration there. Yeah.
No, it was. I mean, all of this. He's just tossing Eddie all over the place. There's one time where Eddie goes for like a jumping Hurricane Rana off the second rope, and Brock catches him and hits a power bomb that's eerily reminiscent of the Hardcore Holly power bomb that broke his neck. I was like, oh shit! Even like watching it in hindsight, I was like, fuck, did he break his neck? Then he just like spun him and threw him. It's crazy.
I think that one was by accident because he kind of like held Eddie on the floor for a bit and it kind of looked like he was like, oh shit, I fucked up. He might have even been apologizing to Eddie. Eddie might have been telling him, keep going. And then he got tossed. But he did hold it for a second there for like at least 2 or 3 Mississippis. It felt like, oh shit, I fucked up. Are you good, dog? You know?
Yeah. He had flashbacks to doing it to poor Bob Holly. But
that was intentional though. That was on purpose. I don't think he meant to hurt Eddie.
No, and everything was fine, so it's whatever. But
he was like, "Are you okay, ese? ¿Estás bien?"
You think that's what Brock said to him?
Yeah. Órale, cabrón.
Lo siento, amigo.
Lo siento, amigo. Yeah. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? You know, stuff like that.
Sí, a la izquierda o a la derecha, no sé.
Yeah, exactly. They probably had a whole conversation in that 3 Mississippis.
Right. Had a few tacos, chimichangas in there, all in Eddie's grundle. But yeah, so the match progresses, like we mentioned. Brock is getting pissed. There's one, his like nose or lip gets busted open at some point, and just the visual of a bloody Brock, a sweaty, bloody Brock. Eddie, why won't you die? It was just crazy.
It's so crazy to just say that out loud. I'm like, die, Eddie, just die. I was like, damn, Brock. Okay, tell me how you really feel.
It's that's something. But Eddie, he continues to fight back, hits the 3 amigos, goes for the frog splash, but Brock gets out of the way. Brock hits the F5 on Eddie, but the whirlwind knocks over the ref. So he hits the F5, but the ref's down. So Brock goes to the outside. His desperation has peaked at this point. He grabs
Yes.
the WWE title, gets in the ring. Goldberg's here. Spear to Brock Lesnar. Pretty sick spear. Yeah, I mean, people don't like Goldberg's involvement in this match, but that's goddamn spear. He had one job to do, and he did it.
Listen,
so.
it's probably the greatest thing Goldberg has ever done in his career is spear Brock Lesnar at that moment in time.
Yeah.
So I'll always that in of itself earned him his Hall of Fame nod.
I support it.
Yeah,
I support it.
That's my narrative.
So Goldberg. Which, by the way, how did Goldberg was cuffed? How did he just like break through the cuffs and back into the arena?
You would think in the pay-per-view called No Way Out, there really would be no way out for Goldberg to get to Brock Lesnar, but there was a way. It was a double negative apparently.
One way out, at least one way out.
Yeah, there's at least one way out.
Is what they should have called this.
Yeah, one way out.
Not as marketable.
Yes, exactly. It was a spear, not a gore, though. So Eddie might have gotten the victory after it if it was gore, because Eddie Guerrero tried to capitalize and get that pinfall victory after said spear. Only got a 2 counts. He did take a minute to get there, but Gore would have finished the match, that's for sure. If you ask Rhino, that's how you tell it apart.
So just to tally up, so you're saying that Jey Uso is better than Eddie Guerrero, and you're saying that Rhino's spear is better than Goldberg's spear.
Rhino doesn't do the spear; he does the gore.
Oh, for fuck your mother. Okay.
The gore is not a spear, Kyle. Come on, man.
We know. That's how could I forget? How could I'm silly? I feel silly now. So yes, Goldberg hits the spear, not the gore. Yes. Lays out Brock. So now everybody's down. Brock's down. Eddie's down. Ref's down. Commentary, by the way, is fucking killing it at this point. Yeah. They're saying that Eddie's going to steal the win, which ties into lie, cheat, and steal.
Yes.
Eddie then grabs the title belt because he gets a 2 count. Eddie gets up, grabs the belt, swings it at Brock. Brock ducks, F5, goes for the F5, but Eddie counters it into a tornado DDT, kind of on the belt. I think the idea was for it to be on the belt, but whatever. We'll pretend like it was on the belt.
Yes.
And Taz calls. He says that he cheated. He cheated with that move. Lied.
That's an iconic line. I credit to Taz.
Yes.
Credit to Taz. That's a very iconic line. Ties in with the Eddie Guerrero's Light and Steel. It really does add that little sazon to the match finish and it gets played all the time when they show that. It's the one bit of commentary audio that always gets played. It's like he cheated. Eddie Guerrero cheated with that move. So it's up there. It's up there.
No, I mean it's fucking. I mean, so he cheated with that move. He lies by getting rid of the belt. Goes to the top rope. Frog splash. 1, 2, 3. Steals the win.
Ooh.
New WWE champion, dude. God damn it! I still had goosebumps watching this. I've seen this so many times, but every time it just fucking hits me, man.
Yeah, there's specific moments where I'm watching. I was like, God damn it, you're just proud again. And then there's those small little moments that really tug at the heartstring. I can mention specific spots that I love about that post match victory celebration where he rolls over on top of the ref to get the championship after he wins, where he dives into the crowd and he's just laughing. He's getting like a schoolgirl as he's getting taken out from
security's pulling him out.
Security's pulling him out. Him going to his mother, obviously getting the hug, the kiss, grabbing the California flag, I'm assuming, and then getting on the table doing the shimmy. I actually have Urban Aztec arts of that moment. Actually, I might actually pull this off and see if can get a little bit right there.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it without the glare from my laptop, but
yeah.
So
that's awesome, man.
Thank you. And then obviously the moment where he's by ringside and he's doing the little shimmy, he's like, oh my god, I can't believe I won. That's when I get a little giddy. And then obviously the very last moment that you see at the pay-per-view when he's at the top of the stage on all fours. No, twos, I guess, on his knees, and then lifts up the title, and then that's how you
Right.
cut off the pay per view and what have you. But man, it's just so cool to see. It's so cool to see. Never gets old, man.
Yes. Especially with like the context of the build up,
Hmm.
watching the match from the start. Because I've seen like the finishing stretch of this so many times, but I've
Yes,
never really. It's been a while since I've sat down and watched from start to finish, and
yes,
just the whole build up, the match itself.
yeah. No,
Awesome.
100%. I think I might have watched the full match last year with Young Kings Wrestling. We were doing a watch along, and they brought me in to rewatch this match. So this is probably the second time in the span of 2 years that I've watched it. So I've been watching it every single year, and it's always around the same time, like either Eddie Guerrero's passing or his birthday. So I don't know. It's
Right.
it's it's great. And man, man, what a great storyteller! And you saw shades of what Brock does in that match, in future matches with guys like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, and just to name a few. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Kudos to Brock. He was a great dance partner with Eddie that night.
I think, yeah, I think that definitely deserves more because Brock's he could have easily phoned it in.
Yeah, he
Like he
could have.
knows he's gone.
And especially what we know about Brock now, where you
Yeah.
can tell when he doesn't respect the guy or he doesn't care about a match. Just look at WrestleMania 32 against Dean Ambrose. Like you can tell,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
now in hindsight, knowing how he is as a person, as a wrestler, in terms of a professional in the ring, he had a lot of respect for Eddie Guerrero because he sold his ass off for Eddie. Brock Lesnar doesn't sell for you unless he likes you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he sold for Keith Lee. He sold for Sheldon Benjamin when he returned at that Rumble, and he sold for Eddie. He sold his ass off for Eddie. So, I mean, kudos to him. One of the few good things he's done.
Yeah. He's not batting 100 or 1,000,
Yeah,
but he's done some good things in
yeah,
his life. So,
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, man, that brings No Way Out
yeah.
to a close. I mean, where does this stand in terms of all the No Way Outs in history? This has got to be towards the top, right?
I mean, besides this one, I mean, what other No Way Outs can you really think about that really stand out? On the top of your head, someone mentions No Way Out. I feel like this one
Hmm.
is one of, if not the first match or like pay per view that they say, I'm like, oh, No Way Out 04, where Eddie wins the title. Like,
Yeah.
outside of that, I mean, what other No Way Outs can you really sit here and be like, oh, yeah, man, that was a great No Way Out?
There haven't been a lot of top to bottom good
No.
No Way Outs. This moment here is definitely what I think of when I hear No
Yeah,
Way Out. You could give a shout out to Undertaker versus Kurt Angle from '06,
true.
'06, I think,
Was that
or
No Way
'07,
Out?
whatever the year was. Yeah.
Was that
Yep.
after the Rumble where he just kind of showed up on that horse and did just like thunder lightning bolts on the ring post?
Yeah. Yes. Was it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think. I don't remember. Yes, it was because it was like short wrestling boots Kurt Angle
Gotcha.
versus tights Undertaker. So yeah, that was
You know what? You're right because I think Mark Henry showed up, cost him the match, and that set up Mark Henry versus Undertaker at WrestleMania.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I mean, there's like Triple H, Stone Cold,
Yeah.
Three Stages of Hell.
That's true. That's true. That's up there as well.
'03's pretty low key stacked. I don't know if I would call it a good show that has Hogan and Rock
Yeah.
too.
Hogan Rock too.
Um,
I forget that was No Way Out.
yeah. Yeah, No Way Out has some sleepers, but like I said, I don't know. On paper, like this shouldn't be a good show. Like
No.
Rhino, Hardcore Holly, the Bashams, you got Noble and Nydia. But I don't know. I had a good time watching this
Oh,
show.
yeah, for sure, 100%. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Like, I think the only thing I might have maybe changed is like maybe you start off with the cruiserweight title to get the crowd hot from the jump.
Right.
Maybe do something because the way they chose to start off the show was a little questionable in my opinion. Because yes, you start off with Tori and Sable, you know, you can't really go wrong there. But then you
Mhm.
go into a handicap match for the tag titles, and then you go and do a blindfold match, an intergender blindfold match, and then you go do like a standard tag team match. So it just kind of feels like an episode of SmackDown up until you get to, you know, like the whole hardcore Rhino stuff, and even that felt like it could have main evented a SmackDown at that time.
Yeah, the first half of the show is definitely filler,
Yeah,
but I don't know, I think the second half made up for it. But I
agreed.
enjoy the show, and you know what else I enjoy? to you, Vince.
Thank you.
SES, Vince. I enjoy
Yes.
Smacking It Raw,
Yes.
GETCHO, everything that you're a part of. Where can everybody find you, look at you, taste you, tickle you, and stick their finger in your belly button until liquid comes out?
I've transitioned from being the Pornhub poppy to what Matt dubs me now as the polyamorous poppy, because I'm part of like 3 podcasting networks plus my own. So you can check out the Smack and Raw podcast at Creation World on YouTube. We're live 15 minutes after WWE post shows. So whether that's Raw, SmackDown, NXT, what have you. Check out the Get Show podcast on Circle of Debate's YouTube channel, live every Wednesday, roughly around 10 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we go live, because, we run on GETCHO time, which is usually like 15-20 minutes late. So, yeah. And then obviously check out Wallet Media, where I do retro reviews, actually, with Rylan Turner, and we go and do what's called Wallop Rewind. And we're recently going to be talking about what was it? NXT Rival. So that was the main event of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the first time. So we recently did that. So check that out. And then as for me, you can follow me on all social medias at SES Vince on the socials. You can look for my basketball content at 606 Universe on YouTube. Spell out the first 6. Then
Hell yeah, doggy.
That's everything, man. That's a lot. But
hold on, I'm gonna see. We're gonna make this work. Hold on, I'm gonna see if you can hear it this time. Wait, I'm still sharing my screen allegedly. Hold on.
Let's see.
Oh, it was still there. Okay, let me present it.
Did you click on share audio as well, like the little check mark there?
Probably not. Select window. Allow. Can you hear it?
No, I can't. Unfortunately.
Cox. All right. Well, we'll just sing the lyrics and then I'll add it in post.
Oh, I don't know the lyrics, but we'll add that in post too.
No. Give it a shot.
I have no idea what the lyrics are.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca a la derecha? Un perro. ¿Sí? Bienvenido, Hugo Savinovich.
Cero Miedo? Did he say Cero Miedo at some point? No?
That's racist, Vince.
Animo, maybe? Animo?
Not. You're being insensitive.
Santos Escobar? Escobar C? Something? Like, he did that
Is that what he does?
He did that at a live show because he's doing something with LA Knight. So he does LA Knight, yeah. So he does Escobar C. That's one of the only people actually chanting with him. So shout out to him. Was there a Chavo at some point there?
Ooh, Chavo! Yeah.
Okay.
Build that wall.
Once again, thank you to my boy Vince for returning to the show. Always a good old time with Vince. Go check him out, like I mentioned, on GETCHO, on the Smacking It Raw podcast, on 606. He has his pots and a lot of kettles, as they say. So go check him out. He's a good boy. Very entertaining guy, as you just observed. What else? What else is there to say? I think we've done it. Follow me, I guess, if you want. If you're listening up until this point, I am assuming you're following me everywhere. But if you're not, quit playing pocket pool and just grab my cue stick or whatever. I don't know. I'm a sleepy boy. Let's appreciate you guys listening. Always lovely having you here. Love inviting you into my home. And I love you inviting me into your ear holes for me to gallivant about the old wrestling. I hope that made somebody's hairs on their neck stand up. That's all I ask for. All right, what are you still here? Get out of here. I love you. Mwah. I'm hard.
Yeah. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started.